Welcome to Metal Wani, Vitek here with one and only Finnish mastermind, Markus Vanhalla of Omnium Gatherum. How you doing, brother?
Hello, hello. Everything's great and busy here.
Good to hear that. I got to congratulate you that you guys have completed 2 decades. That's 20 years with Omnium, which is a remarkable achievement that you guys have managed to deliver quality albums from last 20 years.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think about 20 years. I was 14 and on 8th grade in the school when I formed this band. So apparently the first years of the band wasn't so professional
Mhm.
working, but we were learning and finally getting there. So past 15 years we've been already like pretty active on doing albums for the real labels, and
Yes.
it's crazy how the time flies when you're having fun.
Awesome. And what attribute, let's say, would you consider as a driving force for the band from last 20 years?
Inner urge. It's
Absolutely.
just it's just inner urge to do metal music and this kind of metal music, and you have to compete with yourself. Always want to do better album than the latest one was, because otherwise it would suck if the
True.
stakes wouldn't be high.
That is
And
absolutely right.
then I can hang out all over the world with my best friends, the guys of the band. So
Yes. And obviously, fans coming to the
yeah,
shows, getting to see the new album being played live. It's always a great feeling.
good bonus on top.
That surely is. Now, Grey Heavens will be out in a couple of days, and I think yesterday the album is already streaming on some on online. So I'm sure you guys must have done slight bit of a research here and there to figure out how are your fans responding to the new album.
Yeah, it's been extremely good. Like, I've been amazed for the like first reviews I've seen of the album. It seems like the reviews have maybe been the best ever towards Omnium Gatherum.
Hmm.
Like like for example, that was super cool. The news I got today that our album was like album of the month and Metal Hammer. We've
Brilliant.
never been on that top rates in the big magazines, so I'm happy and amazed.
Awesome. That is good to hear. And obviously, with this album, I mean, you guys have continued to grow musically with every release. I mean, one cannot just say that Omnium is a melodic death metal band, but you guys have incorporated several elements from different genres to basically create your own unique sound. So, which I can clearly hear on Grey Heavens. So it looks like to me that you guys love to experiment, but still manage to retain the traditional Omnium sound.
Yeah, thanks for your nice words. It's exactly what we are after, because we are all band enough to like inspire ourselves, and we really know the trademarks and cliches and niches of Omnium Gatherum sound, and like the red line, there has to be this red line
True.
that you it's unique, and I'm happy you say that, because I respect the bands that have their own sound. Sometimes in the overcrowded metal scene, there's so many bands that are sounding like the same, and
Hmm.
maybe in our case it's that we've never wanted to like reproduce. Even I like bands in the metal melodic death metal scene like At the Gates, Old In Flames, Soilwork, and Dark Tranquility and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But we've never wanted to like reproduce their sounds.
Right.
We don't want to be like a copycats. And all the guys in the band are like music freaks in a large scale, and we listen so many different kind of music. So maybe that's the reason why it's coming through our music that this is really not only about melodic death metal refining.
Right. Absolutely. And the important thing here is how you guys manage to place these songs in a very aligned manner. Basically, the placement of the songs on this album is has plays basically a very important role because the moment we listen to it, it's pretty much clear that you guys have spent a good amount of time to figure out which song will sound better, whether it's at second track or the fifth track. It's been arranged perfectly. So I can definitely say it was intentional but a well executed step.
Yeah, thanks, man. That's I'm old school. I love like the album drama. You have to have this wholeness. I don't like at all to listen to music like put it on random play in iTunes. I always like to listen the whole album, and
Right.
there has to be ending and start and slow dive in the middle and these kinds of. So that's true. We really think about that kinds of things. And again, this album was written like in a pretty short amount of time, but it was like intensive period. So always when you have a new song ready, then you are like thinking about what kind of songs the wholeness is still missing.
Right.
So that's basically it.
Absolutely. I
You have
totally
to
agree.
listen to what you've done already and what is missing.
That is right. And that's where the beauty comes, because whether you listen to the album from the first song till the last, like totally in a stretch, or you just choose songs in bits and pieces, one will still get to basically figure out what's happening in the album. So even if I as a fan heard from the first track till the last, or if I choose some of them in the middle, it sounds good to me. There's a good amount of focus being done on each track to make sure that there is no filler material.
Yeah, thanks. It was also, I think the album gets better till the end. I I like more the B side of the album, which is funny. It grows a little bit. Like the first songs are not so epic. It's more like straightforward bassing, and in the end, the songs are getting more like epic vibe. So that way the album is growing. And this time with the song order, we had also this idea, because Beyond album and New World Shadows album both were like these kind of epic tales. Like it started slowly. There was like big intro and it built slowly, and also they end like for the massive intro stuff. So this time we wanted to do like a in your face starting and end with a conflict.
Yes. And you've also spent a lot of time on, let's say, a track like Skyline, which is basically a slower and pretty much raw as compared to the other tracks. But the wonderful, the keyboard guitar sort of interaction is such a shining point of this album, be it the slower tracks or maybe Frontiers or Majesty and Silence. All of these tracks on the album have those magical points in the middle where you guys, the interplay between the keyboard and guitar is so wonderfully executed. So again, that's something which is very important, to not make sure you can just play anything, but it has to go with what you guys have written and arranged.
Yeah, it's like the song needs a slow dive. That's basically my musical taste, maybe because I love brutal death metal. But then maybe it's happening that always in the middle of the song I'm thinking, this might be a too brutal song. We need to have something beautiful here in the middle section and just slow things little bit. And
Interesting.
maybe that's one of recipe in this album.
That's right. And your guitar tone is very important. It's crisp and it clearly shines. And it looks like to me that you spent a lot of time on getting the right tone for this album.
Yeah, I'm pretty strict about my guitar sounds, and we had like a lot of different amplifiers, and like the last chain of the amplifier is pretty big. There was like 3 amplifiers used and stereo stuff. So, but I don't wanna do it easy way.
Yeah.
There would be more easy way and quicker way, but that has to sound good.
Yes.
To make justice for the songs and riffs.
Right. And did you change the gear as compared to your previous album, or let's say as compared to the album last year, INSOMNIUM released?
Let me remember. I think two latest Omnium Gatherum albums and the latest INSOMNIUM albums, they are pretty much the same amplifiers used. But
okay.
there's some minor changes, which changes the thing a lot, like how you put up the microphone and all the tones, what tones you are using. So the album still sounds pretty much different, even though the amplifiers are the same.
Right. That's good to hear that. And one of the most polarizing arguments basically between the Omnium fans have always been about Jukka's vocals now, and also how it's placed in the music. But when I listen to songs like Frontiers, or let's say even Skyline, like I said, or even Majesty, it's such a wonderfully executed work by Jukka, which you cannot just deny. I mean, I'm not still able to figure out why fans still have these different arguments about his vocals. They are just picture perfect on the album.
Yeah, it might be because it's in a different context than usual. Jukka's voice is more from the 90s death metal, like the bands we love, like Carcass, Obituary, Death, Morbid Angel, and these kinds of, and Edge of Sanity, like low growls. It's like if you are growling, you have to be deep. And
True.
I wouldn't like to have like metalcore kind of screams in Omnium Gatherum stuff. And good point also is that the music is pretty melodic in many places, and then Jukka's brutal voice is like destroying the cheesiness out of the songs. If we would put like a lot of clean vocals to these my cheesy guitar melodies, then the music would be cheese.
That is true.
So what is many times in our music, I think like Jukka is more like a percussive element, more like a drums. He's singing like guitar, rhythm guitar stuff, and not like melodies. Guitar is playing the melodies and vocals are doing the rhythm.
Right.
Which is like pretty much opposite than in normal music.
That's amazing. And what about INSOMNIUM? Is it currently on kind of hold, or you guys are writing an album, or you're just totally focusing on Omnium for now?
Always working with both bands and busy as hell. We just played in 70,000 Tons of Metal in Dubai like last 2 weeks ago, I think. And we've been working with writing the new music, and we are going to record it in this spring too. So,
you have another album coming up this year then?
Yeah, it's gonna be something different. It's not an album, but it's an album. So it will be.
An album. It's like an EP or something.
Yeah, it's an album and it's a single at the same time. So it's gonna be something special.
Awesome, man. Good to hear that. So you have a lot of work. You are going to tour with Omnium as well in support of the album. Then once you finish maybe the European leg of this and the summer festivals, then you have the INSOMNIUM thing. And parallelly, you will also be recording. So you got almost busy 2016 and 2017.
Yeah, we are already booking a INSOMNIUM tour for January 2017. So living 1 year ahead, living in the future.
Awesome, man. Good to hear that gigs are there, because that's how the musical life is, to travel, play for fans, and that's the beauty of playing music, isn't it?
Yeah, there was this time like 10 years ago that I was thinking that damn, someday I wanna tour more abroad Finland and do lots of gigs abroad, and now it's basically a curse because I'm always traveling, and I use all my free time from INSOMNIUM to Omnium Gatherum, and I use all my free time from INSOMNIUM to vice versa.
Yeah, I can totally understand. But I'm glad that the happiness is there. That's more than enough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a
good to hear.
Teenage dream come true. So I couldn't complain. Even I would want to.
True, man. True, absolutely. So before we conclude, how about you define the sound of Grey Heavens in, let's say, one sentence?
Grey metal.
Grey.
I guess Metal Hammer said that it's a soundtrack for the grey season.
The soundtrack for the crazy?
Grey season.
Grey season. Soundtrack for the grey season. Yeah, that's an apt one. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Good to hear, man. Marcus,
Yes.
in fact, I am from India, and none of the bands, either Insomnium as well as Omnium, have come here. So, did you guys ever receive an offer? Because you guys have a very strong fan base. In fact, in June, Soilwork is coming here for the first time.
Insomnium got some offer sometime, but we were already booked to some other place. We would love to come to India with both bands, definitely. But we don't exactly know any promoters there. So
Yeah.
if you have good connects, so feel free to send me and we will definitely contact.
Should be good. I can definitely try for that. But yeah, thanks again, Marcus. A great chat with you. You have a wonderful small time off with obviously all these interviews, and then you have a tour coming up. So good luck, and
Yeah.
I wish you success with Grey Heavens, and look forward to see you in Europe and also in India down the road.
Thanks, man. And we will.
Take
Yeah.
care of yourself.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.